Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of TV is Our Real Mom. I'm Dave.
I'm Catie.
And in today's episode, we are going to discuss The Walking Dead. And what are we discussing? The last two episodes, I guess, of season 6?
Well, of the first half of season 6. Let's not forget, we still have half a season to go.
Oh, man. Are you going to make it, Catie? Are you going to make it?
I don't know. After these 2 episodes, I'm not sure.
Are you in the camp of people that are going to give up on the show, just kind of stop now?
Well, here's my dilemma with the show. I don't have cable, so I'm buying these episodes. And with the quality of this season, I'm kind of annoyed that I've spent money on them. Because I know that I'm not going to watch them over and over again, which is usually what I only usually buy TV shows if I'm going to watch them over and over again.
Like Community or something like that?
Yes, which I have watched 8,000 times. So it's just kind of a resentment thing on top of the disappointment with the season. I'm resentful as well that I've spent money on it. So there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Community podcast coming soon.
That's right. That's what this is from.
Yes.
Right up it.
Yeah. Notice we don't have any Walking Dead mugs here.
Yeah. None of those.
But yeah, we gotta see this through. I mean, I think I'm not the only person who was disappointed in these last 2 episodes in particular. What was your take on them?
I'm not a big fan, honestly. Just not feeling whatever's going on here. Not to say, I mean, I don't want to sound like I don't think they do a good job with the show, because I really do think they do a good job and they do the best they can. But it's there's something about the formula that's getting stale to me, and just sort of it feels like they're spinning their wheels a little bit. There's times in the series where this happens and it gets really good and it gets bad, and there's hills and valleys, and I just feel like towards the end of this season's been a gradual slope down for me.
Yeah. And it started out really strong. We were excited in our first couple of podcasts.
Yeah, and it's just gotten a bit worse as it's gone along, and that's just me. That's my opinion.
Well, in episode 7, which I believe is called Heads Up, they begin right away with the reveal that Glenn is still alive. And to me, there was no win for the show. When they did that with Glenn, made us think he was dead, but didn't really outright say it. Took his name out of the credits, didn't put him on Talking Dead. I mean, they were toying with us from that moment. And that, to me, there was no way out of it that was going to sit right with the fans. And I feel like the way they did choose out of it was just kind of a slap in the face, because, you shouldn't, do that for the sake of having a moment. You should do something that's true to the story, that's believable. This was not believable by any stretch of the imagination. And what they did was just to start a conversation, which, to their credit, it worked. People were talking about Glenn. There's hilarious memes out there of people looking in dumpsters looking for Glenn. And that was funny and everything, but it was a complete disservice to all the fans, I thought.
I pretty much agree with you. You're so much better at verbalizing these feelings.
Frustration.
I feel the same way. It's like you just you're being pushed around and manipulated by the creators in some way, and that's okay at times. But I mean, the way they did it this time was just it leaves a bad taste.
It seemed like it wasn't for the sake of story. It was just for the your show, just to get attention. I feel like that's bad.
Yeah. You broke up a little bit there, but just to re-emphasize what you said, it was that for the sake of the story. You want to do things like that if it serves the story and not as a gimmick to get people talking on the internet and to bring attention to the show, which is clearly the reason they did it. So
yeah,
kind of annoying.
Because he hid under that dumpster for I don't know how long it was supposed to be, and eventually the zombies just wandered off. Yet you have a herd outside of Alexandria where there's actual walls, and they're not going anywhere. So it's like two conflicting.
That's another beef I kind of have with the show as of late is there seems to be like more and more continuity errors and like more and more like kind of absurdities and things that are like, what? Like, you're going to have that kind of stuff in sci-fi and fantasy, and you know, people are going to be like, oh, why would you get hung up on stupid crap like that? But I mean, there's like a line. There's a line, and when you start to go too absurd and too stupid, it's like, I don't know, you lose me a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's an excellent example of that. Is that kind of stuff where it's like, well, they just wandered off here. Why aren't they wandering off there?
I mean, if you have a show in fantasy or a book in fantasy, movie, sci-fi, whatever, you can make up whatever rules for your world building that you want, but you have to follow those rules. You can't just 1 week follow them and 1 week say, oh, to hell with it. These zombies wandered off. There's no individuality in zombies. There is one purpose in all of zombies, and they would not walk away from that, like little dude just hanging out under a dumpster. It wasn't that hard to get at, yet somehow he was able to evade their limbs and everything. So,
and I think part of me is just disappointed that Glenn's not dead.
Yeah, I agree. Because as soon as he opened his mouth, as soon as he got with Enid and started bossing her around and telling him that his wife is some freaking saint, I was like, you know what, Glenn? I wish you were dead, because this is not what I wanted.
Yeah, and for a second there, I thought Maggie might be in trouble. Was that episode 8 or 7?
That was in episode 8. They had the obligatory Maggie escaping from zombie scene, which was whatever. It was there. What other purpose it served, I don't know.
It was there. Yeah, exactly. Like, but I honestly, I was like, uh-oh, Maggie's going down.
And would you be sad about that?
No, that's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, maybe the Glenn thing was a misdirect for Maggie at the end of this season. I was like, that's cool. But that didn't happen either.
Nope. She's still hanging on.
She's still there. So
she's literally hanging on, yeah. So let's see. Besides the Glenn debacle, what else happened in these couple of episodes?
Well, you got seems to be a lot of drama going on around Carl and what's the son's name that hates Carl? Ron. He wants to learn how. He gets a gun. He has Rick show him how to shoot and all that stuff. Yeah. And then it looks like he's going after Carl, trying to kill him, trying to shoot him in the back. And that storyline kind of gets sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, Katie? Help me out here. Resolved / crapped on. Yeah, that's better than what I was thinking. But in episode 8, it continues. And,
they had like some potential crazy scenarios that could have played out, and then just all of them just petered out to nothing. Like you could have had a crazy conflict where Ron shoots Rick or Carl, and I don't want either of them to die, of course not, but you know, nothing even came of it. They got in like a wussy little 8th grade boy fight, and then it was broken up because they had to escape zombies. Like it served no purpose. It was just Carl being, oh, I'm such a good guy. I did like when he said your dad was an asshole. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, that was good.
That
was good.
But other than that, it was just another example of potential for something kind of crazy to happen, and then it's just kind of, let's be friends because we have to survive.
Yeah, I mean, you could have kept that tension building over the next, maybe the next half of this season, or even carry on into the next season even.
Right.
Like,
I mean,
build some tension for a while and use it to really do some crazy stuff down the road maybe. Instead it's this obvious segmented show now. It's like the first half of this season has these storylines and they're going to build and end at the end of this half of the season. It's like they need to be doing more of that stuff that's going to carry on like to next season even, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just don't even, like, if that's what we've come to, if, like, the mid-season finale centers around some adolescent conflict between Carl and some kid who's upset about his dad getting shot because he was an asshole, and then them having a fist fight in the garage, I mean, I didn't care. I didn't care about any of it. I was just like, whatever. You guys are dumb. Sorry.
Okay. That's good. No, that's good. That's good. Let's talk about Morgan and
Morgan. I still like Morgan.
Morgan. How do you say that? Did I say
Morgan,
it wrong?
like
Morgan.
Captain, like the Captain, Morgan.
Like Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
Let's talk about his conflict because it seems like he's really butting heads with, I guess, Rick and more so Carol. So what's going on with that? What's that all about?
Did I lose?
Yeah, you lost for a second. Go ahead.
I wasn't speaking. I was waiting for you to talk about Morgan.
Oh no, I'm gonna continue to pass these to you because you're better.
Well, I don't really, I like Morgan's character because I feel like there has been a certain character evolution that I understand, and he's trying to keep his newfound purpose alive in Alexandria. Hello?
Hey.
Sorry,
yeah,
can you hear me?
We lost that whole segment.
Okay.
I
didn't really say that much.
Right.
I was just saying that I appreciate Morgan's character evolution, and I believe it, and I like that he's still trying to hang on to it, even though it flies in the face of what a lot of people he's around now believe. I mean, they held a freaking tribunal for him just because he didn't want to kill somebody, which I thought was weird. But it just made me dislike the others more and like Morgan more. I don't know if there's any logic behind it, but I like Morgan more than most everybody else.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. Like a couple seasons ago or maybe last season, we'd be like, hey, you can't be moral in the zombie apocalypse. You're stupid. Mm-hmm. But somehow the tables turned, and now like you have people like me who are sort of like rooting for the guy that wants to keep morality alive. Mm-hmm. And that's interesting how you can kind of change your tune on that. But yeah, I guess it's yet to be seen if they're going to be right and morality can't exist and blows up in Morgan's face.
Well, it kind of did a little bit at the end.
I guess it did in this season, didn't it? Or in this
finale. he and Carol really came to blows, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous. Like, I believe that Carol's a badass now. Don't get me wrong. I totally buy it. But the fact that she's willing to kill someone decent like Morgan to stop other people from getting killed, I mean, it's hard for me to follow that logic. Like, has Carol gone too far down the rabbit hole with that? Like, how does killing, stop killing? It's like when people say fight for peace. Well, if you're fighting,
it's not peace.
It's not really peace.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand.
That's another thing I don't really like about these episodes is Carol's beef with Morgan just feels like unnatural and forced. Yeah. It's forced.
I feel the same way. Like, I believe Carol when she's like saving the city like she was in that JSS episode, which was a really good episode. Mm-hmm. I don't buy this as much. Like, she was going to kill Morgan.
Doesn't seem to jive with her character, really. I mean, I like that they're trying to make the characters dynamic and give them this arc where they change dramatically, through as time goes on. Mm-hmm. But somehow it just doesn't feel good with the character for her to be so anti-Morgan and anti-peace and all this crap.
So quickly.
Yeah, and I guess their thought is that, Morgan's putting these people in danger by not killing these wolves. Mm-hmm. But which makes sense, but I don't know. There's something about it doesn't jive with the character for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to put my finger on it, but it's not working. translating all that well. I do want to mention, however, the actor who plays the captive wolf, I thought was kind of like weirdly, creepily mesmerizing. What do you think?
I like that kid. He's doing
Yeah.
good work. Doing good
We
work
should
on
have
the
looked
show.
up his name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think, I mean, he took Denise, poor Denise, like the one kind of decent character that I like in Alexandria, has been taken captive by this wolf now. So will we see him again? What do you think?
Yeah, most definitely. Okay. Yeah, we'll see him again. Probably within the first couple episodes of the season, I think. Denise, it's yet to be seen what's going to happen to her, but I'm pretty sure they're going to keep her alive and use her for something. Hopefully not. Hopefully nothing,
perverse.
I hope not for Denise's sake, but I think they'll keep her alive for something. So we will see her again as well. But I don't know if some characters are meant to last longer than others in the show, and it's tough to tell.
That's another issue I have with the show. They don't service character development all that well. And there are other shows out there with tons of characters. Look at Game of Thrones. And the characters are much more well-rounded and developed, and you're invested in them. Lost is another good example. There were so many characters on that show, yet you felt like bonded to most of them in some way or another. Whereas Walking Dead, I mean, I feel like sometimes they just bring characters on just for the sake of killing them. And it's just, they all have an expiration date. And so I feel like they invest more in the shocking manner and the effect of their death than they do in their life. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I do. No, you're onto something real solid there. I think there's this, like, it comes to this point where it's, like you said, it's based more around how's this person going to die, and that's like more the meat and potatoes of the character, where they're going, than what the character is all about, what their issues are, like, and the show certainly has that, and they're better with it at sometimes than others. But that's a hollow thing to root your characters in, is like, how's this character going to die and how long are they going to last? Whereas like Lost is a great example. You have a lot of people out there who hate the show because of, like, the unanswered questions and an unsatisfying finale. But what made the show great while you were watching it is because none of that other stuff mattered. The character development and it was about the characters in the moment and who they were, and that's what made the show great. And I think that's kind of what's starting to slip away from this show a little bit, and for the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, what does it say when people's favorite characters are like Daryl Dixon? He's someone who barely speaks. He's barely on the show. I mean, that doesn't say great things about the rest of the cast,
Yeah.
Not the cast. I feel like the actors are all very good at what they do. But the material lately, I feel like there's, like, who are these people? Especially the Alexandrians. The mid-season finale ended with Rick and Michonne and a bunch of Alexandrians and Judith and Carl. And I do not care about these people other than, the Rick and Judith and maybe Carl.
Is there anything the show can do to make you care about these people, or is it just you?
It might just be me. I don't find that they give them any. But even Rick, I mean, what is Rick's personality? What is it we love about Rick?
I'm liking Rick less and less, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I go up and down with Rick, but it is on a downswing for sure. But when you like him, the most you can say that you like about him is that he's a leader. I mean, he's a dad maybe, but what is there in his personality that makes you like him? And I feel
the character is getting kind of weak. There's nothing there to grab onto anymore, really.
So does that just mean, if you're in an apocalyptic society, all your personality boils away down to all I need to do is survive and anything else is gone. Like, if that's what it is,
It's
then
a boring show.
maybe you should just die, because if there's no fun and personality and levity left, then what's the point of surviving?
And maybe it'd be in the show's best interest to really start to tackle that exact thing as a subject, as a topic of the show.
Mhm.
Like, is it worth surviving just to survive? I mean, and how do you bring levity, and how do you bring the humanity back to it, and how is that possible? And that's got to be really hard to do. And I'm sure they've already done that in some ways, and if they continue to do that in an interesting way, I think that would be good.
It's not a show that's built for levity, I grant you that, so it's difficult, but
yeah,
it could use a touch here and there.
Yeah, well, like the end where they all wear the meat suits and walk and just stroll through, just walk through a herd of zombies, and that's just another one of those things that's absurd to me. Like, I can't even take it seriously. It was a horrible ending.
Sam's gonna blow their cover.
Yeah, he speaks up for some reason.
Are they what are they saying about this kid? Like, is he just super afraid? Does he have some type of affliction?
I think they're just saying super afraid. He's like a traumatized child.
Okay.
And that's way more realistic than, I mean, as much as probably us and the rest of the people watching probably find this character super annoying, it's probably the most realistic scenario for a child in such a situation. He's going to be a scared, traumatized little shit. But I mean, I
don't think he'd bother me so much if he would cut his hair. Like, he's got a Jim Carrey bowl cut, and it drives me absolutely insane. His mother didn't she give Rick a haircut? Give your child a haircut, Jesse. Come on.
She's neglecting. She's giving Rick haircuts, but she's neglecting.
Yeah, what does that say about this woman? Jeez.
Oh, I just a fun little Easter egg. I was watching Freaks and Geeks the other day, and I saw the actress who plays, what's her name again?
Jessie.
The actress who plays Jessie is in an episode of Freaks and Geeks. So,
wow, a long time ago. How old is she? Well, she was a kid in that, probably.
That was 1998 or 9, I think that show was on. So
that makes sense.
And she was
like a teenager.
She was 15, 16 or something at the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
so that's cool. She had brown hair at the time. Yeah. Interesting side note there.
Well, you know who's coming on the show next? Half of the season. I can't say next season. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Do you know who that actor is? You're not a Supernatural fan.
No, but I recognize his picture. But I almost feel like I recognize him more because he looks similar to other actors. Not
he does.
Him.
Who is it? Oh, he looks kind of like Javier Bardem.
No, Javier Bardem. That's the one.
Yeah. But he plays Sam and Dean's father. Oh, okay. I mixed them.
Oh man, that was funny. Okay.
Sam and Dean's father in Supernatural, for anyone out there who watches Supernatural. Okay. In only the first 2 seasons. But he's going to play Negan, who at the very end of the credits, so apparently Walking Dead does post-credit scenes now like Marvel does. And they said this group of motorcycle dudes stopped Sasha, Abraham, and Daryl and said, all your stuff is now the property of Negan. So that's he's playing the next big bad guy. And I'm worried about this because I already feel like governor levels of frustration and hatred before I've even met this guy. So I'm a little worried about how that's going to go. But maybe it'll be good. We'll see.
So the governor, was he sort of a universally hated character, or was that?
I don't think so. I think some people like him. I just hated him.
Okay.
I don't know how you felt about it.
Well, I found the character interesting at the time watching it. I thought it was a decent storyline, and it wasn't terrible. I didn't mind it, but it wasn't. I remember feeling like that season wasn't as good as the two before it.
Right.
So
No,
there
I
was
think,
that. But I think the governor himself wasn't horrible, and I've heard Negan is like one of the most interesting characters in the comics. So I have faith that it could be good.
Yeah. Well, he's a good actor. So
yeah. Well,
a lot of people on the show are.
What do you need to see happen in the show to get you back on board? Because it seems like it's really slipping for you.
I'll probably still watch. I'm not sure if I'm gonna buy the episodes anymore.
Yeah.
But what do I need to see? I need to see.
It's tough to give up on a show that when you've invested.
I've put 5.5 years into. Yeah, it's tough.
So you want to see it through, but do you think the show needs to end soon?
I do. I really do.
I agree. I mean, I think we've talked about this in previous episodes, but I am in the camp that they should end this or they should set an end date, maybe 2 seasons out. Yeah. So they can work, so they have something to work towards, because that's part of the problem for me for the show is that it's aimless.
Right.
And it feels that way. And I think the people that are not expressing this are kind of naively, blindly following the show because they're just so loyal to it. They're fanboys of Walking Dead, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones has sort of tentatively set an end date, not definitively, but they've said like either after 7 or 8 it will be done. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Walking Dead might want to follow suit, because I feel, but at the same time, at the same time, the comic books will probably just keep going and going because they're comic books. But it doesn't mean you need to. I mean, they've already not followed the books, and at a certain point, you're going to get to where there's no original characters left, and who are we even? Like, why are we even here? It's like Menudo in television form, you know, the boy band.
One of the members just changed until
changing players.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different beast by the time you get to season 8 or whatever.
You shouldn't even call it Menudo anymore.
No.
You know, it should have a whole different name.
It should.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think they need to stop bringing on so many new characters every season just so they can have people to kill. I think that's dumb. And inject the people they do bring in with personality. Like, focus. They had interesting characters like Aaron and Heath and Denise, yet they focus so much on Jessie and her kids. And like, and Deanna, we didn't even mention her. She died. Bye, Deanna.
Yeah.
But oh well. They didn't have, like, there wasn't much to their characters, and it's not the actor's fault, I'm sure, but you got to give them something. Got to give us something to root for, you know?
So I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here. So how do you keep the weight of the world, how do you keep that feeling real and make sure that the audience understands the consequences of not the consequences, but the weight that, you could die, any character could die any minute. How do you keep that sense of that without bringing in characters and killing them off and always feeling like anybody could die at any minute?
You kill off main characters. You don't pull some half-ass fake out that maybe our main character died and then he doesn't.
But then to keep a full cast, do you have to bring in another one?
No, you have to bring in new people. That's the nature of the show. But why bring in a whole freaking town and make us get to know 18 different people? Like Spencer? Are we supposed to care about Spencer? And Rosita sometimes gets things to say, but I don't know anything else about her other than she thinks Eugene's a pussy. So I don't, there's too many. There's too much.
And it's all so weakly fleshed out. It's not. Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So
there's no easy answer, and I don't envy the people who have to make sense of this show, but something's got to be different next season.
Yeah.
Next half season.
So what would I like to see? I think they need to get more creative. Honestly, like you could get so much more creative with what's happening and where the scenarios they're in, and it just like this season was so much the cliche typical thing that would happen,
Mm-hmm.
Find a town, try to live in the town, everybody dies.
And then that
zombies
bullshit,
get in eventually.
that crappy speech Deanna gave Rick about these are your people. Like, that's the most cliche you can get. People have been telling that to Rick since day one, and I feel like when that's your mid-season finale pitch at
6
epicness, at I mean, I've heard it. We've heard it. Give us something else.
Well, I eat up the hero, the hero storyline, the character arc, and if this show wants to go that route and say Rick is the hero of the world, and make him be the hero all the way to the end, and have some kind of some kind of connection there, I would love that. I think that's fantastic. It is a cliche, but yeah, I just hope that's the direction they're moving with it. If they're gonna set this up as like, Rick, you're the leader, you're the hero, do it, man. I hope that they have something in mind for an ending where Rick can be that hero and bring some resolution, or even if you could maybe even have a good ending where there is no resolution, but I don't know.
I feel like that's more likely in this world, because what is the end goal? Just to keep surviving. So I feel like
the end goal is to rebuild society, get back to where we were before the apocalypse happened, but better. Like back to where we were before it happened, but moving in a better direction, so this never happens again. That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
that's the end game in my mind, but any farther beyond that, you're just getting into existentialism and you're beating your head against the wall. So, but
if you're not already with the show.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I still have hope for the show, but
yeah,
I think some things
we won't abandon it.
I want to see constant action, like nearly constant action, and lots of strong character development.
Mm-hmm.
And an ending.
That'd be good.
I want to see them work towards an ending.
As sad as it is to see shows end, they're worth nothing if they go on forever,
Mm-hmm.
It has to come to an end sometime. Some shows end way too early. But then you have shows like Supernatural that's on its 11th season and it's having one of its best seasons in a long time. So I don't know. Who's to say? But it will eventually end. Shows have to end at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. So there you have it. Our 2 cents for what it's worth.
We have spoken. Walking Dead, take note.
Yeah. Better listen. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for being behind on the season, but I'm sure nobody really cares. But anyways, we'll see you guys next time. I think in the future we are doing a podcast on Community.
You know it.
And maybe some Lost. So be watching for that.
Yeah, we're ambitious. So.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.